November 1971, San Francisco. A professional wrestler steps into Bruce Lee's demonstration. His name is Big Jim Morrison. 6 feet 4 inches, 285 pounds. Amateur wrestling champion, professional for 5 years. He volunteers when Bruce asks for a demonstration partner. The audience expects a show, controlled techniques, cooperative movement. But Jim has other plans. He's going to test Bruce Lee, really test him. Prove wrestling beats Kung Fu. What happens in the next 90 seconds shocks everyone, not because of violence, but because of what Jim discovers about size, about strength, about humility. Let me tell you about the 90 seconds that changed a wrestler's life. 1971. Bruce Lee is touring. Martial arts demonstrations. Philosophical lectures. Building his reputation. San Francisco event, ballroom, maybe 300 people. Bruce demonstrates techniques, speed drills, power generation, 1-inch punch. The audience is impressed. Then Bruce asks, I need a volunteer, someone large, strong, to show how these principles work against size. Hands go up. Bruce scans the crowd, points to a massive man in the back row. You, the big gentleman, would you help? Jim Morrison stands. Crowd gasps. He's enormous. Walks to the stage, each step heavy, confident. Bruce looks tiny next to him. 5 feet 7 inches, 140 pounds. Jim towers over him. 145 pounds heavier, 9 inches taller. The contrast is absurd. Bruce extends his hand. Thank you for volunteering. What's your name? Jim Morrison, but people call me Big Jim. Athletic background? Wrestler, college champion, now professional. Bruce nods. Perfect. Wrestling is pure strength and technique. This will be educational. The audience settles, expecting choreography, expecting cooperation. They're wrong. Bruce explains, I'm going to demonstrate how a smaller person can control a larger opponent. Jim, I'll need you to actually try. Don't hold back. Use your strength, your wrestling. Really test me. Jim smiles. This is what he wanted. Permission to go hard. You sure about that? Bruce smiles back. Absolutely. Give me everything. If you love Bruce Lee stories, subscribe. I post rare stories every day. The crowd is nervous. This could get dangerous. Jim is professional, trained, powerful. Bruce is confident, but Jim outweighs him massively. Bruce takes his stance, relaxed, hands up, loose. Jim takes a wrestling stance, low, heavy, grounded. Ready? Both nod. Begin. 0 minutes, 0 seconds. Start. Jim shoots immediately, double leg takedown, fast for his size. Bruce sees it coming, sprawls, hips back, legs spread. Jim grabs air. Bruce is gone, repositioned, behind Jim. 0 minutes, 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Jim recovers, stands, impressed. Good reflexes. Shoots again, different angle, single leg this time. Grabs Bruce's leg, has it, solid grip. This should work. Bruce doesn't resist, lets Jim have the leg. Jim commits, drives forward. Bruce uses the momentum, jumps with his free leg, wraps it around Jim's neck. They both go down, but Bruce is in control. Triangle position. Jim's head is trapped. 0:15, 15 seconds. Jim is confused. How did this happen? He had the leg, was executing perfectly. Now he's trapped. Bruce's legs are around his neck. Jim tries to muscle out, stands up, lifting Bruce. Bruce is completely off the ground, hanging from Jim's neck. The crowd gasps. Jim is holding Bruce's entire weight, 140 pounds, dangling. This looks bad for Bruce, but Bruce is calm, squeezing, legs like a vice, around Jim's neck, cutting blood flow. Jim feels it, vision blurring. He's strong, but he can't breathe, can't think, starts to panic. 0:30, 30 seconds. Jim drops to his knees, gently, doesn't want to hurt Bruce, even though he's losing. Bruce releases, immediately. Both stand. Jim is breathing hard. How did you? Bruce smiles. You use strength. I use leverage. Your power worked against you. Jim nods, wants to try again. Different approach. No shooting, just strength. He reaches for Bruce. Bear hug attempt. If he gets it, crushes him. Game over. 0:40, 40 seconds. Bruce lets him close. Jim's arms come around. Almost has him. Bruce drops. Sudden. Complete. Like his bones disappeared. Slips through Jim's arms. Like water. Jim's grabbing air again. Bruce is behind him. Again. Sweeps Jim's leg. From behind. Jim goes down. Hard. 285 pounds. Crashing. The stage shakes. Bruce follows, gets Jim's back, arm around the neck, rear naked choke, position, not squeezing, just controlling. 0:55, 55 seconds. Jim is face down, Bruce on his back, can't move, can't escape, too much control. He tries to bridge, using his power, pushing up. Bruce rides it, like a rodeo, stays attached no matter what Jim does. Jim tries to roll. Bruce rolls with him, stays on back, perfect position. Jim is exhausted, from fighting, from carrying Bruce's weight, from failing, every attempt. He taps, palm on the mat, 3 times. Submission. 0:90, 90 seconds. Bruce releases immediately, stands, offers his hand. Jim takes it, gets pulled up. They're facing each other. Jim is stunned, humbled, defeated, in 90 seconds, by someone half his size. The audience erupts, applause, cheering. They just witnessed the impossible. But Bruce isn't celebrating. He bows to Jim. Deep bow, respect. Jim bows back, deeper, more respect. Thank you, Bruce says. For what? Jim asks. For testing me, really testing me. That was real wrestling, real technique, real strength. You honored me by not holding back. Jim shakes his head. I gave you everything, and you made it look easy. Bruce puts his hand on Jim's shoulder. It wasn't easy. You're powerful, skilled, dangerous. But power without efficiency is wasted. Size without strategy is limited. You have the tools. You just need to refine how you use them. Jim is listening, really listening. Can you teach me? Bruce smiles. I just did. You used strength against me, linear force. I used your force, redirected it, made it work for me. That's the lesson. Don't oppose force with force. Join it. Redirect it. Use it. The audience watches. This moment, teacher and student, big man and small man, both learning, both growing. After the demonstration, Jim stays, talks with Bruce for an hour, asking questions about leverage, about efficiency, about the principles. Bruce answers everything, patient, thorough, generous. Your wrestling is excellent, Bruce says, but it's based on strength. What happens when you meet someone stronger, or younger, or faster? You need principles that work regardless of attributes. Jim understands. That's what you have. That's what I'm developing. Jeet Kune Do isn't about being strong or fast. It's about being efficient, about using what works. Your wrestling works, but add efficiency, add redirection, add adaptability. You become unstoppable. Jim asks, can I train with you? Where do you live? LA, I wrestle there. I'm in LA too. Come to my school. Train with us. Not to abandon wrestling, to enhance it. Jim agrees. If you love Bruce Lee stories, subscribe. I post rare stories every day. Jim Morrison becomes a student, not full-time, but regular, twice a week, for 6 months, learning Bruce's principles, integrating with wrestling. The first session after the demonstration, Jim arrives nervous. I don't know Kung Fu, I'm just a wrestler. Bruce smiles. Good, I'm not teaching you Kung Fu. I'm teaching you principles. You already have techniques, wrestling techniques, excellent ones. We're just making them more efficient. They start with basic movement. Bruce shows footwork, lateral, circular, angles. Jim tries, feels awkward, too upright for a wrestler. This feels wrong. Wrestlers stay low. Yes, but you're always low, predictable. What if you could switch, low when needed, high when advantageous? Gives you more options. Jim practices, week after week, integrating. High stands for mobility, low stands for power, switching between, seamlessly. Next, redirection. Jim's natural instinct. Meet force with force. Someone pushes, push back harder. Bruce shows different. Someone pushes, don't resist, pull, use their momentum. Against them, Jim practices on Bruce, pushes him. Bruce pulls. Jim flies forward, off balance, vulnerable. Oh, I see. Your opponent gives you energy, direction, momentum. Don't waste it by opposing. Use it. Guide it where you want. Jim starts applying. In wrestling practice, opponent shoots. Old Jim would sprawl, resist. New Jim sprawls, but also redirects, spins, takes the back. His training partners notice. Jim, what are you doing? That's not wrestling. It's better wrestling, more efficient. His coach pulls him aside. Morrison, stick to basics. This fancy stuff doesn't work in competition. Jim respects his coach, but remembers Bruce. Use what works. He keeps practicing, both ways, traditional wrestling and Bruce's enhancements, waiting for the right moment. to test it. In competition. The moment comes. Regional tournament against a former Olympic alternate. Bigger, stronger, more decorated. Jim is losing. Round 1. Traditional wrestling. The opponent is better. More experience, more power. Round 2. Jim decides. Time to try something new. Opponent shoots. Double leg. Jim doesn't sprawl. Jumps. Over the shot. Lands behind. Takes the back. The referee is confused. Legal? Checks the rules. Yes. Legal. Just unusual. Jim scores. The opponent is frustrated. Tries again. Jim uses angles. Bruce's footwork, creating openings. Opponent can't adjust. Can't adapt. Jim wins. By decision. Post-match, the opponent asks, "Where did you learn that? That's not wrestling." Jim smiles. It's wrestling, enhanced, with principles from Bruce Lee. The movie star? The martial artist and teacher. Word spreads. Jim Morrison is training with Bruce Lee. His wrestling is evolving. Other wrestlers are skeptical. Kung Fu doesn't work in wrestling. Jim doesn't argue, just keeps winning. More tournaments, more matches, against bigger opponents, using efficiency, redirection, adaptability. 1972 championship. Jim faces his biggest test. The favorite. 305 pounds, 25 years old. Jim is 28. 280 pounds now. Lost weight. More mobile. Bruce's influence. Carry only what you need. Extra weight is extra burden. The match begins. The favorite charges. Overwhelming force. Jim doesn't meet it. Sidesteps. Uses the momentum. Hip toss. The crowd gasps. Jim Morrison doesn't throw. He grinds. But this is different. This is new. The favorite is shocked. Gets up. More cautious. They grapple. Jim uses sensitivity. Bruce taught him. Feel your opponent's intention. Through touch. Through pressure. They telegraph before they move. If you're sensitive, you know before they do. Jim feels it. The favorite shifting weight. Preparing to shoot. Jim moves first. Stuffs the shot. Before it happens. The favorite is confused. How did you know? Jim doesn't answer. Just keeps wrestling. 5 minutes. Back and forth. Jim uses less energy. More efficiency. The favorite is tiring. Using pure power. Exhausting. Jim is calm. Breathing controlled. Bruce's meditation training. Control your breath. Control your mind. Control your performance. Final minute. The favorite is desperate. Throws everything. Jim defends. Efficiently. Minimal movement. Maximum effect. Time expires. Jim wins. By points. First championship of his career. The crowd cheers. Jim looks up to where Bruce is sitting. Bruce nods. Small smile. Proud. Jim bows. Deep bow. To his teacher. In front of everyone. People ask, "Who's that?" Bruce Lee. Jim's martial arts teacher. Bruce Lee teaches wrestling? No, he teaches principles. Jim applies them to wrestling. This moment, captured in photos, Jim bowing to Bruce after winning championship, becomes iconic in martial arts circles, shows respect, shows humility, shows the teacher-student bond that transcends styles, transcends competition, transcends ego. Post-match interview. Jim, you wrestled differently tonight. What changed? Jim smiles. I trained with Bruce Lee. He taught me that size isn't everything. Technique is. Efficiency is. I used my wrestling, but added his principles. Made me better. This creates buzz. Bruce Lee training wrestlers? Improving their wrestling? With Kung Fu principles? It spreads. Other wrestlers come. Judokas, grapplers, all wanting to learn how to be more efficient, more effective. Bruce welcomes them, teaches them, not Kung Fu, but principles that enhance what they already do. 1973, Bruce dies. Jim is devastated, loses his teacher, his friend, his mentor. He continues training, applying the principles, passing them on to younger wrestlers. He coaches now, teaching wrestling, but with Bruce's philosophy. Use minimum effort for maximum effect. Adapt to your opponent, don't oppose them. Be like water. His students win, college championships, national titles, Olympic trials, because Jim teaches, not just wrestling, but efficiency, adaptability, principle. 2018, Jim is 75 years old, retired, gives an interview. Tell us about Bruce Lee. Jim smiles. Bruce Lee changed my life in 90 seconds. I came on stage cocky, thinking size matters most, thinking strength wins. He showed me in 90 seconds that I was wrong, not by beating me, by teaching me. Every position I tried, he turned against me. Every strength I had, he used for his benefit. I wasn't defeated, I was educated. What was the most important lesson? That there's always a way, no matter how big your opponent, how strong, how skilled. If you're efficient, if you're smart, if you adapt, there's always a way. Bruce was 140 pounds. I was 285. He controlled me completely, not because he was stronger, because he was smarter. That lesson carried me through my entire career and life. Do you still teach his principles? Every day, to wrestlers, to students, to anyone who listens. Bruce's principles aren't just for fighting, they're for living. Use what works, discard what doesn't. Adapt, flow, be like water. That's how you succeed. In the ring, in life, anywhere. Jim Morrison died in 2020, age 77. His obituary mentioned wrestling champion, coach, and student of Bruce Lee. The 90 seconds on that stage changed everything, not just for Jim, for hundreds of wrestlers he trained, for thousands who learned from his students, all because one day he volunteered to test Bruce Lee and learned that size doesn't matter, strength doesn't matter. What matters is efficiency, adaptability, principle. Bruce Lee, 140 pounds, controlled 285 pounds in 90 seconds, not with strength, with intelligence, and ended it not with victory, but with a handshake. Respect, teaching, that's the legacy, not defeating opponents, transforming them into students, into teachers, into carriers of the principle. Be like water.